Hey, everybody. Looks like I got to hop on first on the call for a moment there.
Yes, took some time to get the both of us sharing today, talking today. So, hey, hello everyone. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, good to see you, Bruno, as always.
Yes,
Happy
and
Wednesday. It feels, I lose track of the days anymore. I've got 4 kids, and today isn't, it's right now is right now. So I hope it's going well for you.
hey, it's a busy day. Yes, the middle of the week, and hey, super happy to be here. It was just me, or StreamYard did something weird before we
Took
start.
a moment. Now we're all here.
We are all here. Perfect. That's it. Hey, Maho.
Hi, how are you doing, Bruno?
Fine, fine. Hey, let's start with what's supposed to do at the beginning. I still need to learn how to do this hosting stuff. So, introducing ourselves, my name is Bruno Capuano. I'm part of the cloudadvocate.net team. Super happy to be here because we have a cool set of topics to talk today. But hey, I will ask Jordan and later Maho also to introduce themselves. Please.
Hey, all right. Good to see everybody. Yep, I am a product manager on the .NET team focused on helping, make it a great experience for building apps using AI technology. So happy to be here with you, Bruno, as always. Maho, you want
Hi, I'm Maho Pacheco. I work in a part of the organization that is called Industrial Service Engineering. So I'm just happy to be here and about collaborating some stuff with other teams.
Awesome. And hey, a couple of things to see today, to talk today. We are going to talk mostly about some work that we've been doing. We are going to answer some questions around local large language models that we presented last week. And let me share my screen so we can all see. But before this, let me also remind everyone, hey, last week we hosted the Azure Developer.net Day. It was an amazing one. This is an article is going to be part of our full set of links that we have here. Let me share the links of today's content. So if you want to know more, there are, I think, around 20 sessions. There is a lot of stuff here around AI, GitHub Copilot for SQL Server. It was amazing. I didn't even know that in SQL they have some kind of instructions and features today to work with regular expressions plus AI. Hey, it was a super fun day. There is tons of content. There is 10-minute sessions, 20-minute sessions. It's all, sorry, probably you don't hear my dog barking like crazy here. But if you want to know more, please take a look at the Azure Dev Days, Developers.net Day 2024, because there are so many cool things there to do. I don't know if you, Jordan or Mao, were part of the day or you went and take a look at the videos and the samples. Did you watch the stream?
I caught a little bit of it, but not as much as I'd like to be honest with you. How would you say it went? Was it a good time?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm looking forward to watch some of this. This looks very cool.
Yes, I was there at the beginning, so I watched the first half, and the other one is still in my to-do list to watch. But as I said, plenty of things here. Sharing the link also in the comments. So if someone wants to take a look more, you can do it. But today we want to talk about a couple of things that we've been working that are going to be part of the AI samples. So let me go to our list, and it all started here. It all started 2 months ago, so almost March 13th. So it's going to be next week. Is going to be 2 months, and the whole idea is that Jordan and a group of amazing people, they were creating a set of amazing tutorials, quick start tutorials. So if you want to learn with AI, if you want to a .NET developer and you want to have this quick start experience with AI, it's all there. And we have scenarios for kind of basic. I don't want to say basic, but it's kind of an intro step scenario if you want to summarize, if you want to learn how to summarize text, how to create an app that is going to do some chat or local functions. There are plenty of things that we can do there, and it's all here. And the whole idea is that all of these are part of a repo. And by the way, this is all part of our Learn materials. You have 2 flavors here for each one of these scenarios. You can use semantic kernel, and you can use the Azure OpenAI SDK. But it all goes here to where is our, there it is, to our main repo. We have a main repo here, which is the AI samples repo. And the idea here is that we are going to add, this is kind of an in-progress work, we are going to add here artificial intelligence samples for .NET. You can see here that we have the text summary, you have the chat data, generating images, and there is a lot of coming soon stuff. And it's not just about sample scenarios, it's all that we feel that the community is asking, is requesting, we want to add it here. We want to add here. So an example, we are going to add contents around tokens and embeddings and RAG. We want to add tokens about local models, how you can work with local models. So there's a lot of work working here. So I strongly advise everyone to take a look at this repo. And this is also the excuse that we have today, because we are working, and we are going to show today a couple of work in progress stuff that we have on local models. And also, it's not here yet, but it's going to be here plus in the official documents about a scenario where we are going to show how you can basically perform evaluations on a model. There are models, we know the GPT 3.5, GPT 4 models, but there is also a cool community which are picking up, in example, open source models like Llama, and they are tweaking the models. They are making small adjustments here and there, retraining the model. It's not retraining, but think about retraining the model. So we have a new one. And hey, we want to have a set of .NET libraries that is going to help someone who wants to use this model, in example, to make evaluation. So in example, if you use the model, this new model, in a chat applications, we want to provide kind of a tool set or a framework that is going to help you to have a minimum better scenario, a set of metrics so you can evaluate this model. This is going to be officially presented at Build. Jordan, Maho, keep me honest here. So at Build, we are going to deliver everything. But hey, right now, you can see, if you want, here in the .NET AI samples, there are a couple of PRs here and there that is basically work in progress that shows this. So if anyone wants to know more, or please share in the comments if this makes sense or not, because right now the two hot topics that we see here is the need of people, the need of the community to work with local models, to work with other type of models, not local, let's keep it open source models, and also what we are working on the Val side. Jordan, Maho, anything to add there?
Yeah, I think if I'd add just a little bit, so a couple of things you mentioned, like this repo where we're doing different work on the, different samples coming up. So you can even watch the pull request incoming and, join us and commenting on those. We had the .NET AI samples. The link was just shared out that were our initial quick starts we talked about in, I think, Standup about 4 weeks ago. And you'll see, even within the next few weeks, more updates coming to our documentation, including some docs around this. So what we wanted to chat about today was a bit of the evaluation piece you were just talking about, right, Bruno, with model evaluation?
Yes.
So with that, we'll have some documentation around how to handle model evaluation. We're going to get in here in a moment, even look at some of what the work is there. That'd be one thing I wanted just to add a little bit about, more docs that are coming up here that we'll be sharing out shortly. And then the little bit with the evaluation sample, I think was kind of fun to just add a little more on top of what you were saying, Bruno. We've heard a lot from talking with different .NET devs of, you start with OpenAI or getting experience with working with generative AI. And then as you start looking at further projects or, working on different prototypes, it's very common to want to try out different models because there's, there's more out there than the OpenAI models, and they are different levels of specialization that these different models can handle some things. Or they just handle them better than others. Maybe some open source models out there are very specific to a domain. So there's reasons you want to, and may find yourself exploring other models. So that's kind of our motivator for having some documentation in this sample, is to help give a little bit of guidance for .NET devs as you explore out there. How could you go about trying these different models and exploring what they can do, how well they work?
Yes. So, yes, Maho, we're going to talk about the eShop later. We have the link here also to share about the eShop, because this is kind of the big one. Let me copy the link and show it here. because this is kind of our, correct me if I am wrong, but this is kind of our reference application,
Yes.
.NET application for everything. Yes, this is kind
Yeah,
of the
so you mentioned build, and one of the things that I am excited is that we were working in this as a samples, right? So people just go there and see, oh, this is nice, this is cool, but how I like take this to an actual production application, right? So eShop is an application that is like a very complete. It's like usually what you should do in a production environment, or very, very close to, with the best practices. So it's like how we can integrate these evaluations or these different kind of things, CI/CD in GitHub actions, right, into eShop. So we are working on that, and I hope that we can present that in build. So that's also work that I'm very excited.
Yes, and hey, let me start here my Zoomit. I don't have Zoomit installed here, so let me start Zoomit so we can take a look, because yes, as you mentioned, eShop is kind of the reference app for everything. And if you take a look at the repo, is, as you mentioned, a reference architecture. We have microservices here. We have a front-end application, the browser application. I think it's Razor. Can't remember what we have in the front end. But it's also a mobile application. There is an event bus there in the back. So everything that we like and love is here. So eShop is the go-to place. And as we said, it's going to be released with a full set of Verbal embedded here at Bit. In the meantime, a couple of questions that we have. Eric's asking, I go Phi-3 working local and in a container by using Llama. I like calling via API. Yes, that was one of the questions from last week. And this is where I wanted to start. And by the way, there are other questions here. I am going to share it now. But yes, one of the learned lesson from last week, let me zoom this a little so you don't lose your sight, was, hey, this is kind of the hello world of semantic kernel. We are going to create, we are going to use semantic kernel mostly for this, but this is a semantic kernel that is a created kernel. Then we add a service using Azure OpenAI for chat. We build the kernel, and then we do, hey, write a joke about kittens. So if we add this dotnet run, a couple of seconds later, we are going to have this up and running. I am here in the right directory, yes. So yes, building the first time, and here, super bad joke about kitten. So perfect. So this is kind of the hello world of semantic kernel. The whole idea that we have here is that we mentioned, and this is what we saw in last episode, and we have questions here, is, hey, how about if I want to use this using my own model? So right now, in example, we can also do this. And this was Stephen who mentioned this. We can also create a service, an OpenAI chat completion service, define which model we want to use. And I have here probably running in my local machine, Llama, in example, probably one of the more popular ones. Eric just mentioned this. And you can run it and have it there. And yes, it works great and works very, very fast. What I've done here is, instead of using Llama in my machine, I have another machine here. This is kind of an old, crappy machine that I have at home. And what I have here is running Llama. I can't remember which models I have installed here. So let's do Llama list. I have Llama 3 and Pi. And what I can do, this is Docker Desktop. Let me copy the URL. I am going to copy the URL, and then let's use the logs here again. This is the logs. I can change here the endpoint and say, hey, you know what? Instead of doing localhost, hit that machine is in my network. I think I still need to do some API here to don't have a required parameter or something here. And this is literally the same demo. Clean. Oh, not clean. Clear. Sorry, I'm switching between. Yes, I am Windows also. So CLS work. So let's do a .NET run. And this is going to be the same demo running and hitting the extension. You can see there how the model is refreshing. So this is a running model in another machine. And a couple of seconds later, I'm going to have the response here. It works great. It works fine. It works fine. I like it. I really love it. But what I like about this is how easy I switch from one model to the other. So this is the moment that we start to say, okay, I have models. and I have Phi-3 in example. We, as Microsoft, the Microsoft research team, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, they released and published that. There is Llama also there. There are a lot of models. If you go, in example, to the library of Llama, and you filter by the newest, hey, they have Lava Llama 3, Lava Phi-3. So this is work of external teams that they are fine-tuning current models like Phi-3 Mini, adding some, in example, visual capability, I will say, for Lava. I think Lava is for visual stuff. And then you can use it if you want. So how do you test if the model works fine or not? And by the way, someone asked last time, also asked, hey, when you are working with a local machine, because I think last week I saw this working in Raspberry Pi, do you really need to wait a couple of minutes to get a response? There is another way to do this, which is basically, instead of invoke the prompt and do the prompt async, you can do the streaming service. Let me see if I'm right. I remember you can do invoke the prompt streaming async, and then in the response, we can do a for each message in the response. I need to do when I wait here, and I think this is message. So this one is going to basically do the same, hitting my endpoint using my external machine, but instead of waiting for the full prompt and showing if I don't have dotnet run, if I don't make any typo, mistake, or something, what I am going to have is, oh, I am doing a right line here. So you are going to see there, sorry about that. These are the tokens, guys. This is each one of the tokens that we have here should be one, should be console.write. But this is also kind of nice to understand when we talk about tokens, that a token is not a word, it's a small piece here of a token. So you have here offensive in these two while relating to the, I'm writing a line per token. So this is another way to do this. If you're working with a backend that is not fast enough and you don't want to wait, you can also do the streaming async method and wait for this and start to stream your response. Does this make sense? I see a couple of questions here. I see a couple of comments here. I don't know. Jordan, Maho, something before we switch to the vault, do you want to add something how we can switch between models? Yes, please.
No, this is nice, and I just want to say like the val thing, right? Like you are asking for a joke, so the val is very simple. It's like, what model is more fun, right? Like, so you need to evaluate different models, or what prompt generates a more fun joke. So yeah.
And on this, yes. I know some models vary in their. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please, Jordan, please.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I know some models vary in their capabilities, like which ones could support running tools or native functions and such. Is streaming another one of those where some models will support, or if you can refresh my memory, will Llama make streaming work with all of them as far as kind of abstract the API?
Yes, Llama has has a couple of nice things. One of I like is that they use basically Open API. They have some kind of specification when you are doing chat completion, in example. So if you follow OpenAI specification, you are going to be able to talk with OpenAI models. Llama, what they did is they also apply the same specification for other models. So if I change this here, and instead of Phi-3, I do Llama 3, I think I have installed Llama 3, and let's do this one here. That's how I get the chance to basically not changing anything, just changing the model that I have installed in my backend. I can use the same, and I can start to use kind of the same API, the same concept, the same code, because it's using the specification. I don't know for other scenarios. I think in the functions world that you just mentioned, there will be something. Not very sure if it's available right now, but I really don't know if we can use local functions right now in these models, in a Llama 3 or a Phi-3 model. Yeah. But hey, work in progress. Yes.
Actually, there is a question from Stallone that is very related. Like, if he can use Gemini to generate embeddings and use this through semantic kernel.
Okay. Hey, yes, let me go to the questions. There it is. Stallone said, can we use Gemini to generate embeddings and through semantic kernel? That's a good question. I don't know. I will say that, hey, we can probably do embeddings. There are so many ways to do embeddings. most popular one, it will be used one ADA 02 or whatever that we have in Azure OpenAI. But I haven't taken a look at semantic kernel for embeddings in other models. I don't know. Jordan, Maho, do you have any context here? Do you know something? I will probably add it into my to-do list, but not sure if we can do it.
The spring backlog they had shared, there was a great blog post back at the start of spring here, like in March or so, talking about what they were working on and increasing support for other models for sure within SK. I don't know if there's some more nuances around the embeddings piece, but I know as far as general capabilities in SK, it provides a set of common abstractions is the goal, regardless of models you work with. They're working to expand support to additional models, and Gemini was definitely one of those that was in the list. So I would stay tuned if it's not there right now. Keep an eye out on their upcoming releases as they kind of round out the spring timeframe right now.
Yes, and hey, I mean, we can use Gemini with semantic kernel instead of OpenAPI. I will say, I mean, Gemini, the open source one is Zema, as far as I remember. Let me go here. Let me go to the most popular. We have Llama 2, Zema. So I am going to do this live. Don't do this at home. But I can say something that Llama, ROM, Zema. It will take some time to install. So we are going to get back 5 gigabytes. So we're going to get back later into this machine and basically try the same sample, but with Gemma, with this. And this is the open source version of Gemini. I don't know if we can do Gemini APIs directly with semantic kernel. I really don't know how they work. But hey, this is something that will show you the power here that we have. So hey, I like this kind of challenge questions because we know and share, and if we don't know, as Jordan said, keep an eye on our blog post and our news or even the show. We try to show everything. Going back here, we have another question before switching to I saw one. AutoZen. Okay, AutoZen. This is completely out of my scope. Anyone wants to know? I know AutoZen. I know how it. I know a little. I know my Hello World. But do we have any plans to add AutoZen into our AI samples?
I'll follow up. I'll look on that one. We've been talking a little bit. Part of my team is responsible for the AutoGen dotnet support. And so there's going to be some samples out. I can look for where that repo is at. But otherwise, we don't have any in the main AI samples yet. But I think there's a few out there. So I can follow up on that one.
Okay. Hey, yes, we can have it. And we can have them in the future. And it probably makes sense. Full story here is that there are some overlaps here and there when we start to talk about AutoZens and assistants and more. And I see that we need to do a better work trying to have a single name for everything. So we are working there, but AutoZen as an idea, as a concept, and not a product, but something that we release from research is kind of an amazing one. And I'm guessing that the future is going to be everything that we have in AutoZen probably as part of semantic kernel, or the biggest pieces, the biggest feature, the most important one are going to be there. But hey, we can have something there to do. And yes, we have a question around, Mohamed says something about before, sorry, I added to the list, but we haven't done yet, about assistants. I don't remember if we have assistants in the repo. Sorry, where is the repo? There it is. Vector reference samples, not yet, but we should probably add this into the list. That's a good one because, yes, as I said, assistants or agents or different terminology, but with kind of the same focus are something that we probably need to add here. That's a good one. I don't know. Jordan, ring any bell? Do we have anything on the backlog for assistants?
Semantic kernel has their own items, or has some of their own samples around these, so you can find like some. So basically, where we're at now is SK's got a set of samples, and we're building out some here as well. So we're working on improving also how you cross-link between those. So they're out there, but maybe in a few different locations, not all in this particular repo, but you can find some for semantic kernel that they have. They've got a big out in their repo, a big samples project with a whole bunch of different cases, and I know I've seen assistants in there.
Yes, and as Maho said, hey, if you want a specific sample, let us know. Go to create an issue here. I don't know if we have discussions here. No, we don't have discussion, but create an issue. And yes, we were happy to take a look there. And if you want to solve a specific scenario, at the end, I am going to show something, an example that I've been working in the last couple of days. We can do it here. And we want this to be the entry point that can help everyone. So thanks for all of the feedback. So recapping, let me see. Oh, we have Gemma here installed. So let's go back here before switching to Eval. Let's clear this. And let's ask Gemma to tell us kitten jokes. And by the way, I like what you mentioned, Mao, about evaluating which model is funnier. That will be a hard one because fun is a super, super open and broad topic there.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean, it goes to the point that the evaluators sometimes you need to customize those for specific needs, right? So we have a set of samples for one scenario, and when I was trying to port those to eShop, it was a little weird because eShop uses a QA assistant, so you can do questions and answers like a bot in an e-commerce site. So you need to provide like a few shots or tailor the prompts, right? So customizing the prompts, and this is a good scenario, right? Everybody has a different sense of humor. So what is fun for you, maybe it's not for others. So yeah,
yes,
we should do that sample.
Yes, and also here, an example, I noticed that Phi-3 add a note at the end saying that, hey, this is a joke, but we try to not to be offensive or whatever. I think Llama did something, but Gemma went in a different direction. Tell a joke, where the kid enjoy the band, because percussion is, and then at the end, it add a claw fan pan, add a second joke. So kind of give you, okay, if you are not happy with one, you have two here. But hey, let's switch context here. And remember, this was literally 5 minutes installing Gemma in a separate server in another machine to use it here. But let's go to evals. Right now, evals, as I said, is part of the pull request. If someone wants to give us feedback, please let us know. But let me show you what we have and what are we building right now. I'm going to switch to Visual Studio. So what we have here is a solution with a couple of projects here. The main ones are this eval.core. And by the way, this is all work in progress, so it may change in the future. We may refactor everything once more time and adapt it to something else. But this is the one that this is kind of the key piece that is going to perform the evaluations. And then we have an output project here that basically helps exporting the result of the evaluation to a CSV or to a nice console view. We have a couple of creators here for question and answer, for user stories. And then we have a console application, which puts everything together and basically works, and basically try to work. And the way that it works is we basically have 3 kernels, if you were thinking about kernels, that we can use here. Why do we have 3 kernels? You can use 1, but the idea of having 3 is we are going to have a kernel to perform the evaluation. So we want to have kind of because the evaluation is going to be literally prompts that we evaluate. We want to have a kernel. Imagine that you are creating your own version of Phi-3. You are fine-tuning Phi-3. So we have another kernel that is going to be the one that is going to be tested. And then we have a third one that, hey, if you want to generate mock data, random data to test, you can use another kernel to generate the data. So you can use one kernel for everything. So right now I think I am running everything in GPT 3.5. Yes, everything is GPT 3.5, but then you can switch. So in example, we can switch the Q&A right now and we can do it live here if we want and start to, okay, let's test this kernel. And we can use this server that I have. It's not a server. This Docker instance that I have, Docker desktop, and we test Phi-3 in example, and these kind of things. So right now, the samples that we have, the one that you see here, have a console application, by the way, Spectre, super cool library to do console apps. It's super nice. I mean, I love when I start to do this. Oh my God, we can do so many things. But what I have here is a console app that basically allows me to, okay, what do you want to do? You want to generate a QA scenario using a large language model, test with a couple of hard-coded question and answer, a hard-coded user story, load user story from a file, generate. Okay, so let me go here and let's type the question and answer to be used. So type the questions. So tell me the capital, I don't know, of France. I think I always do the same. Capital of France, type the question, and the answer will be the capital of France is Paris. So a very simple question and answer. This is me feeding kind of an example. And what is going to happen now is with this, we are going to run this question and answer with the prompt in the test model. And then with the response, we are going to run the response from the test model using the evaluation model. So let's do this. It's going to work a little in the back. And this is what we have.
So Bruno,
the input, yes.
Real quick question for you. So is that first part there where you typed in a question and then like an expected answer? Is that what we would call providing ground truth, kind of grounding the context of this is the kind of, I want the answer to be close to this. I know this is what I want it to look like. And that's your ground. Is that what you would call grounding?
Yes, and that's the part that start to get not scary, but start to get tricky because you start to get this naming and concepts like ground truth. The first time I open a CSV with ground truth, I was like, what is this? This is a question and answer. Give me an answer.
Yeah.
But no, this is how it works. The same with the terms that we have some of evaluations here, coherence, groundness, and relevance. The same with coherence. This is not what you probably have in your head about coherence. Different people can have different ideas of what is a coherent response for this. But hey, there are a specific scenario. By the way, this is most of this is based on metrics that we have as part of Azure AI Studio. There's a huge set of documentation that you can get there. But yes, this is also the moment to learn a lot about this. The expert here, all of this is based on an amazing work that Maho is doing. He created all of this. So Maho, at any time you want to add some lightning and explain something else, please let me know, because I am just the person who pick up everything and create this crappy and colorful console application.
No, I mean, this is an exploration, right? So as Jordan mentioned, right, we need to have like the goal that says the ground truth and all of this. So we're exploring how this can be helpful in on production environments, because the need is there, right? How to evaluate your outputs, how to measure certain things that are not as simple as just a number, right? So yeah, so I mean, I will want to know from the community what are the needs there in order to be known, like to know where to explore more, right? So, but yeah, cool stuff.
Kind of a fair analogy here to think of these as like, so my favorite practice for the longest time is test-driven development. So I write my unit test in parallel with my code to be like, this is what I want to happen. And then I run it. Okay, it's not right, or it is, and get into like refactoring. So I love to start with tests. Fair to think of this sort of as a level of testing with AI. Like you can't say specifically that I know for sure what my answer will be every time, but this is in that space of like the input, my question, and then something in the space of the answer I want. And this is a way to define and help you kind of evaluate how close these models get to these your idea of answers, right?
Yes, and hey, we have a nice question from the Neo. Hey, cool name, by the way. About this is a wrapper, or this is a wrapper for something from Azure, or this running locally? No, it's running locally. What we have running here is calls to these GPT 3.5 models in the cloud, but everything else is running locally. So it's a full set of pipes that's going to do this call, get this answer, analyze the answer, then do these calls to get the coherence, then to get the groundness, the relevance, and more. So yes, it's all running locally, but the models that we are using to do this, which is GPT 3.5 models. And Stallone also said here where I can find the code. This is all in our main repo. It's part of a PR right now. So here, if you go to .NET AI samples in the PRs, one of the PRs, let me share this in the in the code one again. One of the PRs is this one is the run evaluation as a large language model contains everything that we are showing right now. And as we said, this is work in progress. This is learning and exploring how we can do this. And I love your analogy, Jordan, about this is kind of TDD. But this is a super weird TDD, because if we take a look here, the original question was, tell me the capital of France. The original answer is the capital of France is Paris. But the answer from the testing model just said Paris. So even if we know that the answer is right, we have here a good number in coherence, but not a very good number. This is 1 to 5, by the way, not a very good numbers in the groundness. So this is, okay, we need to improve this. We need to, okay, maybe change the prompt that we're using for groundness, or maybe do something else. But this is a great way to start to see if the model is working here in a decent way. Does this make sense? And let me hide here. Okay, we have a question from Eric. Is your model set up for multiple sessions? How do you test things like one session not polluting the other? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. We probably can talk more about that, but right now the idea is that, hey, if you have a library that is going to do the evaluations, because let me show you a little of the code here. It's very simple.
This is again with the analogy of the test-driven development, right? So you have unit tests, and your unit tests, you want to set up one model, do the query, and that's it, right? To avoid polluting. But then just sometimes have integration tests, and then you have sometimes fixtures where you share the same model or the same kernel across many, right? And in those, you need to be aware of that, like multi-threading and stuff like that, and polluting. So it is certainly like one thing to take in consideration, and maybe we should add guidance in the samples. But it's the same as test-driven development, right? It depends on your scenario.
Yes, and we are going to show at Build how you can add this in example in a GitHub action, so it's part of your CI/CD program, so you have some metrics later. So there are a lot of things to do here. But by the way, love the feedback, everything that you can tell us, because we really want to know if you are going to use this, how do you want this? What do you like about this? So I like about this that, hey, how we can handle not polluting one session for the other, not making a mess here and there. So hey, love that one. Going back to the code. Thanks Maho for helping James with the local ones. Going back to the code. Here we have a set of plugins that we are going to use. These plugins are part of the prompt. You can add some evaluators. We have default evaluators that we see for relevance, coherence, and groundness. You can add more. Each one of these evaluators is literally a super amazing prompt that we have here. So you can take a look at the prompt. There is the few shot learning stuff that Maho mentioned before. So this is a prompt that's going to do this. And then what we have here, let me show you a simple question. So if you want to evaluate a question, you can ask for the question and answer for a topic. And then when you have the question and the evaluation, you basically said, okay, this is the batch eval that we defined before, evaluate that questions, and then you're going to display the results. And the result is basically what we see in about input, output, and the metrics that we have. Of course, you can do a process single, and again, this is probably going to change in the future. And then you can have the process in batch, somewhere here, a process collection, where your process, in example, we have some user stories, where you have the description, the context of the projects, and then the persona. So we can also run this to, analyze this user story and give me some feedback. And we can test this also if you want. And by the way, this is all in the eval project. If I run the user stories scenario, let's run this again. List of user stories from a file. This is going to take some time because it's going to perform everything. And then when you have everything, it's going to show the metrics. There is a lot of topics to talk about here about telemetry, about how you can do this. Right now, it's doing everything in batch, but you can probably do this in real time. It's going to be harder for the table to be updated in real time, but you can also do this and that. But the whole idea is that, hey, you can pick up the output of a model that you have, create it with semantic kernel, and then you can work there. I can't remember how many do we have, 15. So, hey, we have here a full table with the 15 analyses of each one of the user stories. And as we've seen before, you have an input. The input was a generated user story for a persona, duck, so we can learn to swim. This is the output. As a duck, I want to learn to swim in the pond so I can navigate and find more easily. And then we have the coherence, the groundedness, the relevance, and the length. Everything's happened here. And more stories, more numbers, and everything else. By the way, feel free to give this a look if you want to export this to another metrics. I know that Maho originally you have a super cool Grafana dashboard there with the stuff. I put everything in the console, but if someone wants to pick up this and export it to another dashboard, whatever that you want to do it, there it is for that.
Yeah, and the Grafana thing, it was to make a point, right? Like, because you have all the .NET machinery, like the powerful things of .NET, including OpenTelemetry. You can just use OpenTelemetry to report this and show it in an Azure Monitor dashboard, in a Grafana dashboard, or even I know that there is work to show certain things in NetAspire, right? So, like, this is simple to integrate with semantic kernel and existing metrics. So yeah.
On this, I haven't dived into the user story capabilities of the sample too much so far. So it's great for this crowd. I can be like, first time I got really asked on sort of this one. Could you explain how, from the inputs you had, how did it determine groundedness in this case? Was there a generated expectation somewhere that for now that then you would go on, like, how do we get that number here? Because I didn't see where you put in an expected sort of a answer for that. Duck.
Yeah. So probably you want to show the prompts. And by the way, this prompt is a copy paste from the Azure AI Studio, but something that we were discussing before is like, it is not tailored for this specific scenario of user story, right? Like you can see here in the example, it starts with things like the Oscars or very generic questions. So yes. It is, I mean, I have this example, but with few shots specific for the user story, where like the groundedness it's higher for certain answers.
So in this case, so this is a prompt for evaluating. I'm just zooming my own groundedness. Were there input somewhere then that you had some example answers for the user story that I was just missing? The one bit we looked at mentioned a persona and a general user story. Was there also for the sample a set of Q&A data associated with the personas that got fed into this groundedness?
Yes. And what is interesting is that I have seen that there are certain models that takes user stories out of the software engineering realm, like the dog that learns to swim, as very low groundedness. And it makes sense, right? Most of the data that has been fed into these models when they mention user stories about software engineering. So it makes sense that the groundedness is very low in those ones.
Yes, and hey, if you want to learn more about this, we talked about this previously. Let me go back to here. Eval samples. This is my current version. So let me go here. These are the links. We are going to add this into the collection of links here, but these are the collection, running evaluation, complete. Okay, so these are the links that I was looking for. This is how, in example, in Azure AI Studio, our entry place to do everything AI, how we have the AI evaluation. So if you want to know more what's happening in the back, how this works and more, I will strongly advise everyone to go here and take a look at this. The Neo said that yes, Aspire is going to be one, and the user story. The user story is super cool one. I mean, we are doing Q&A because a chat is basically Q&A, but the user story is a super nice one that I learned from Maho. going back here, this is the entry place to see, okay, this is how evaluation works. This is how the traditional machine learning measurement work, and yada, yada, yada. And this is the nice place when we start to say, okay, this is AI-assisted evaluation. And because, going back to the amazing analogy of TDD, it's super hard to do TDD when you're doing AI evaluation, because you need to do some assert with kind of, okay, assert, but the response is going to be, but the test is going to be good if I have a coherence of 3 or bigger. And maybe in this one, no, I want a 5 here. So you need to switch a little how we are doing these kind of things. But hey, here we have, in example, the metrics. This is how we are doing the quality metrics. And then we have samples of the metrics for AI Studio. And you have a queue, a context, and the answer, and the single turn and multi-turn. And then somewhere here, I can't remember, I have the links here, you have the metrics. Literally click the link where you have the stuff. And by the way, there are more stuff that we are not showing here around how you can also, if you want, add some metrics to do unfair content, do manage your own, create your own evaluator if you want to manage some bias in your content, maybe create an evaluator to see if you are leaking data in person. I don't know. There are so many things that you can do from here. And as we see here, this is basically a prompt running with a specific configuration that is not defined here, but you can also define, okay, I want to run this prompt with temperature at 0 because I don't want any creativity at all here, but you can switch and change a lot of things here and there.
Yeah, and
yes, please, Maho.
When AI exploded, like there was many examples of companies that deployed these without actually evaluating those results. I remember an airline that was providing false information about how to get a refund or how to reschedule a flight, right? Or I remember also a car company that was giving cars for free, and between quotes, right? It was a bot. But certainly you can test those things, and then you can also test for harmful content, right? You yes. can ask for things that it should not engage or answer, and you are making sure that your application actually is responsible.
Yes, and even I remember one scenario where someone, I think it also was a sales car company, I can't remember, a car company, that they were having a bot with a backend in the GPT model or one of the big large language models, and people were using the only bot to basically solve Python questions and to solve C# questions because it was a free GPT-4 modeling example. Hey, you can add those metrics if you don't want your model to answer coding questions. You can use, I don't know, create some kind of testing scenario where, okay, I just want to do this, and I want to avoid that. This also may help for this. And I know it's kind of a tricky, not tricky, but it's kind of a different one, but this is kind of what we want to do. And I know that we are getting at the end, so the final scenario here to show will be, okay, when I created the 3 kernels, I can go to do the test kernel, and instead of using GPT 3.5, let me copy my code here. Let's test Phi-3. If I go here and instead of Gemma do Phi-3, what I can do right now, I'm going to create a new kernel that is going to, I'm going to have a couple of kernels, one to generate questions, one to do the evaluation, that is going to be a GPT 3.5. Probably for the evaluation, we need to use 4. Oh, I may not have the, I need to return something here. Sorry.
Did you level 1? It's an easy fix live.
Hey, this is what's happened. I love live coding. I love live samples, but the whole idea is that, oh my God, we start to have a lot of stuff here. Is that if we want to test, in example, the same question that I did before, I'm going to type the question to be answered. So tell me the capital of France. The capital of France is Paris. And I know I'm tricking this because I probably said Paris and that's it. But this is going to make a call to our Docker instance here. So if I minimize this, we will have a new instance running. We are going to have the call to the Llama server. at any moment. And hey, I am probably going to do some evaluation with a custom model. Again, it's not a custom model. There it is. This is the Docker running the stuff here. And it's not the custom model, it's the Phi-3, but we can also see here what we have. And hey, I need to learn more about the prompts to ask Oscar-related questions so I have a better coherence and more there, because yes, you need to fine-tune the models there. So I don't know what it's doing right now. It's probably working. Oh, I am using Phi-3 for everything. Okay, that was a mistake on my part.
We'll be interested to see if there is a model or someone comes with a model that is just to evaluate certain things, right? I have this model that just evaluate coherence or relevance, right? And yeah, it will be interested to see that.
Yes, I like it. That's a good one because, yes, if we have, I don't know, maybe in the future we will have a GPT 3.5 eval fine-tuning in Azure that we can use just for evaluation, or GPT-4 for evaluations and these kind of things. That's amazing. And by the way, this is going to take long because it's running everything on the Phi-3.
Yeah, you probably don't have like an extremely powered.
Oh no,
the
test machine
that locally, right?
The test machine is super bad. So the val is going to be the val. The test is going to be create. Okay, I need to find my code here. Create kernel test. There it is. So the val should be GPT 3.5. Let's take a look here. I think
I see. In this case, you were
I make it in the
prompt with Phi-3, but inadvertently it was also running the groundedness prompt to evaluate groundedness on Phi-3. So you were getting your results and then running it through each of the tests was also the same model, and so those all 5 or 4 separate
so hey, I need to fix my stuff, but I hope everybody gets the idea that hey, you can use different kernel for different action, because at the end what we have is what we want to do is to test one of these models. And as I said, you can pick up here, go to the library, pick up one of the models and take a look at this, or even take a look at the fine-tuned models. So this is probably one to take a look. Someone pick up the Phi-3 and the fine-tune the model with Lava. So hey, let's take a look how this one works. And we are at the end of the time. Any more question that we have here in the chat? Let me go back here to the main project and let's take a look at the chat.
There is a question. It is possible to execute the speech commands using Phi-3 in Blazor web application?
I mean, you have several, I'm going literally raw thoughts here. Yes, you can use any of the other services that you have, the speech services that you have. You can use Whisper if you want or something like this, and then the Phi-3 directly there. There will probably a sample already written about that. I'm sure we can find it and show it in the next episode if you want. Later, yes, Phi-3. I think that the demo that we are going to have for the eShop sample that we are going to show at Build is going to use semantic kernel, so it's going to be kind of easy, or at least easy to test if you switch between models, because as we've seen, it's literally changing a couple of lines. But yes, I will say that the speech command, take a look how we can solve that, and later Phi-3 right now is switching. You need to have Phi-3 hosted. By the way, you can have Phi-3 hosted in Azure if you want also, and then switch to that one. So hey, that's a good one. I don't know, Jordan, Maho, something to add there?
I think I'm exploring right now a simple sample that does with speech, and basically from a Blazor application, if you can get it down to a .NET stream, and if the backend API supports is it equivalent of an octet stream, that as long as the API supports passing in your encoded speech recording, then a lot of the work is around locally in your Blazor application, recording the audio, sending back the stream of the audio for these models like Whisper or the models in the speech services, to be able to then handle those. So you'd have to do a little bit of glue coding around getting the recording and then getting that stream into the right format. But as long as the model support it, that level of stuff's kind of the same regardless of the model. But that would be a fun one for us to come back around on talk about some samples specifically around speech.
Yes, I remember on the Llama models, in example, because you don't want to send a big image in one set. You can stream chunks of the images, and the model, one of the model was prepared to have the small chunks until you say, okay, you have the full image, and then it's going to start. But I can't remember, that wasn't with semantic kernel. That was with a custom library or even custom code to do that. I'm guessing the stream for the audio should be similar. Okay, it's a nice scenario to have. We are going to take a look at that.
Yeah, thanks for walking us through the evaluation stuff, Bruno. I think it'd be awesome for folks to jump out there and take a look at the PR and start playing around and giving feedback as we merge it in our work on documentation. I know I'm super excited at this sample because that was a big aha moment for me, was like my brain being very used to, like, I've got, input, output, deterministic. And in this world that, what you get out of these models can vary. And so having some kind of a way to evaluate different models is one piece I'm excited about with this. Extending this in the future toward how could you even, as you work on your own apps, modifying your own prompts and testing those and how your tweaks in that part of the system affect things. I'm really excited in this space of eval and having a test model because it's a really core part of the workflow as you build these apps out. So it'd be fun to have folks dive in on the PR as well and share some feedback, try it out early.
And also thank you, Bruno, for the amazing UI, command line application, because it allows people to explore different things, right? So to test or just one or start troubleshooting. I think that's amazing.
Hey, it was a pleasure for me because I learned how to use Spectre. It's a super cool new get package to use in .NET, and you can do amazing things. It's not AI, but maybe next time we can show in 10 minutes a couple of things, because literally mind-blowing, and a lot of people like command line application, console application, and more. So we'll probably want to add that. And we are at the end of the hour, so thanks a lot. Hey, Darren is saying that, yes, it will be great to speak to Tess. We are going to add something for adding into the topics to do the next time. Once again, Jordan, thanks a lot. Maho, thanks a lot. All the best. Keep an eye on the stuff we're going to do in Build, because the next episode is going to be literally at Build. So keep an eye on the stuff that we're going to present there. And hey, see you all next one. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Take care, all.
Thank you all.